The three primary types of depreciation you must master for the national portion of the real estate exam are physical deterioration, functional obsolescence, and external obsolescence. Depreciation in the context of an appraisal is defined as a loss in value from any cause, and it is a key component of the cost approach. It is vital to start with the rule that only buildings and improvements depreciate, while land is considered indestructible and therefore never depreciates. The first category you will encounter is physical deterioration, which is the most straightforward because it involves the actual physical wearing out of the property. You will need to distinguish between curable and incurable physical deterioration for the exam. Curable items are those where the cost of the repair is less than or equal to the increase in value the repair provides, such as replacing a broken window or painting a room. Incurable physical deterioration involves major items that are not economically feasible to fix, like a foundation that has settled significantly or the internal framing of a house that has reached the end of its useful life. Appraisers often use the age-life method to calculate physical deterioration, which assumes that a building loses value at a steady rate over its economic life. For example, if a building has an economic life of 50 years, it would depreciate at a rate of 2% per year. This is a common mathematical calculation you might see on the test. The second category is functional obsolescence, which refers to a loss in value because a building is no longer efficient or does not meet modern tastes and standards. This occurs within the property boundaries, but it is not about things being broken. Instead, it is about the design being flawed or outdated. Common exam examples include a home with a 4-car garage but only 1 bedroom, or a house with 10-foot ceilings that are extremely expensive to heat. Functional obsolescence can also be curable or incurable. If you can fix the problem by adding a bathroom to a large house, it is curable. However, if the floor plan is so cramped that it cannot be altered without tearing the house down, it is incurable. You should also be aware of the term incurable functional obsolescence, which frequently appears in questions about super adequacies. A super adequacy is something that costs a lot to install but does not add an equivalent amount of value, such as a residential home with a commercial-grade kitchen or an oversized heating system. Even though these items are in perfect physical condition, they represent functional obsolescence because the market will not pay a premium for them. The third and perhaps most important category for your exam is external obsolescence, which is also referred to as economic or environmental obsolescence. This type of depreciation is caused by factors outside the property lines, such as a new sewage treatment plant being built nearby or a shift in the local economy that leads to high unemployment. The absolute rule you must remember for the exam is that external obsolescence is always incurable because the property owner cannot change the external environment. A frequent exam trap is to describe a nuisance that is located just across the street and asked if it is functional or external. Always ask yourself if the source of the problem is on the property or off the property. If it is off the property, it is always external. To keep these concepts straight in your head, use the mnemonic PFE, which stands for physical, functional, external. You can associate these with the phrase pieces, features, and environments. Pieces are the physical parts wearing out. Features are the functional layout choices. Environments are the external factors surrounding the home. Another area where the exam might try to trip you up is the difference between replacement cost and reproduction cost when calculating depreciation. Reproduction cost is the cost to build an exact duplicate, while replacement cost is the cost to build a structure with similar utility using modern materials. When appraisers calculate functional obsolescence, they are usually looking at how a property compares to a modern replacement. Finally, remember that the total of all these types of depreciation is called accrued depreciation. When you are working through a math problem on the cost approach, you will first determine the cost to build the structure new. Then you will subtract the accrued depreciation, and finally, you will add back the value of the vacant land to reach the total property value. Mastering these 3 types of depreciation will ensure you can navigate any appraisal question on the national exam with confidence.